A number of prominent Republicans, even extreme ones, are running away from Donald Trump in terms of being his vice presidential nominee. Republican Senator from Tennessee, Bob Corker, was reportedly a finalist to be Donald Trump's vice president, far enough along in the process where he submitted his tax returns to the Trump campaign, strong enough that he was invited to spend a day with Donald Trump. And one day was all it took, Lewis, for Corker to say, no thanks, I'm out, take me off the list. He used the political equivalent of it's not you, it's me. Here's a quote from Corker after this meeting. There are people far more suited for being a candidate for vice president, and I think I'm far more suited for other types of things, like not being associated with the potential Donald Trump administration. So fine. Trump was just too clueless and insane for Bob Corker. But certainly Joni Ernst would be in Trump's wheelhouse of craziness, right? I mean, she's the one who touted her experience castrating pigs on a hog farm during her campaign for Senate. No, she also said no thanks. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa told Politico she has withdrawn her name from consideration as a vice presidential nominee, and she suggested Mike Pence should instead get the nod. A recent report says there is a 95% chance that it will indeed be Mike Pence who is Donald Trump's vice presidential nominee. Is this getting through to anybody? One of the most insane, extreme parody of a candidates from a recent election, Joni Ernst, is saying she wants nothing to do with being vice president of the United States, a heartbeat away from president of the United States, if it means being next to Donald Trump. This is a woman who was a small town pig castrator. She all of a sudden gets a chance to run for vice president, and she says, no thanks, not with Trump.
This is exactly what has happened with the Trump campaign since he started, right? He cannot get the people he needs to work for him, and he ends up with people like, what was the name of the woman who went into the talking point coma recently, the blonde? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Trump's spokesperson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget her name.
Yeah. Oh, and then there was Pearson. She's a gem, too. He just can't get the best people to work for him. I mean, to call these people that we're talking about now the best people seems a little ridiculous.
If these are the best people Trump is running his campaign on around picking, it's pretty bad. It looks like it's going to be Pence. Newt Gingrich's name was mentioned. I would love it if it was Gingrich-Trump, because it would be the most megalomaniacal team with the biggest illusions of grandeur in history. We know about Trump, right? I mean, he thinks that his book about sales, where he talks about drinking alcohol, is up there with the Bible as the best books. Now, if you don't actually think the Bible is even a good book, that's not going to make much of an impression on you, understandably. And then you have Gingrich, who, as we talked about last time he ran for president, equated and compared himself to Abraham Lincoln, Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, Copernicus, Moses, and Pericles. Pericles, the Greek statesman, is like Newt Gingrich in his mind. It's sort of a perfect match, isn't it?
If they were to become president and vice president, within 6 months, we would have another monument adjacent to Mount Rushmore with their faces in the mountain.
And forget about a colony on the moon. We would make it to, we would somehow make it to the rings of Saturn under those two guys, given the delusions of grandeur they have. Okay, but it's not going to be Gingrich. Every indication it'll be Pence, and we'll tell you if and when that happens.